Brought to you by Penguin.
The Blazing World and Other Writings by Margaret Cavendish, read by Abigail Thaw. Introduction by the editor, Kate Lilley.
Both for ease of listening and because it contains details of the plot, we've placed the introduction to this Penguin classic at the end of the audiobook.
The Contract. A noble gentleman that had been married many years, but his wife being barren, did bear him no children. At last she died, and his friends did advise him to marry again, because his brother's children were dead, and his wife was likely to have no more. So he took to wife a virtuous young lady, and after 1 year she conceived with child, and great joy there was of all sides. But in her childbed she died, leaving only one daughter to her sorrowful husband, who in a short time, oppressed with melancholy, died, and left his young daughter, who was not a year old, to the care and breeding of his brother, and withal left her a great estate, for he was very rich. After the ceremonies of the funeral, his brother carried the child home, which was nursed up very carefully by his wife, and being all that was likely to succeed in their family, the uncle grew extreme fond and tender of his niece, insomuch that she grew all the comfort and delight of his life. A great duke, which commanded that province, would often come and eat breakfast with this gentleman as he rid a-hunting, and so often they met after this manner that there grew a great friendship, for this gentleman was well bred, knowing the world by his travels in his younger days, and though he had served in the wars and had fought in many battles, yet was not ignorant of courtly entertainment. Besides, he was very conversable, for he had a voluble tongue and a ready understanding, and in his retired life was a great student, whereby he became an excellent scholar, so that the Duke took great delight in his company. Besides, the Duke had a desire to match the niece of this gentleman, his friend, to his younger son, having only 2 sons, and knowing this child had a great estate left by her father, and was likely to have her uncle's estate joined thereto, was earnest upon it. But her uncle was unwilling to marry her to a younger brother, although he was of a great family. But with much persuasion he agreed, and gave his consent, when she was old enough to marry, for she was then not 7 years old. But the Duke fell very sick, and when the physicians told him he could not live, he sent for the gentleman and his niece to take his last farewell. And when they came, the Duke desired his friend that he would agree to join his niece and his son in marriage. He answered that he was very willing, if she were of years to consent. Said the Duke, "I desire we may do our parts, which is to join them as fast as we can, for youth is wild, various, and inconstant, and when I am dead, I know not how my son may dispose of himself when he is left to his own choice." For he privately found his son very unwilling thereto, he being a man grown, and she a child. The gentleman, seeing him so desirous, agreed thereto. Then the Duke called his son privately to him, and told him his intentions were to see him bestowed in marriage before he died. His son desired him not to marry him against his affections, in marrying him to a child. His father told him she had a great estate, and it was like to be greater, by reason all the revenue was laid up to increase it, and besides, she was likely to be heir to her uncle, who loved her as his own child. "And her riches may draw so many suitors when she is a woman," said he, "that you may be refused." He told his father her riches could not make him happy, if he could not affect her. Whereupon the Duke grew so angry that he said that his disobedience would disturb his death, leaving the world with an unsatisfied mind. Whereupon he seemed to consent, to please his father. Then were they as firmly contracted as the priest could make them, and 2 or 3 witnesses to avow it. But after his father was dead, he being discontented, went to the wars. But in short time he was called from thence, by reason his elder brother died, and so the dukedom and all the estate came to him.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?